Hi everyone, since I published the Biometric Addendums project, I noticed many of you guys liked it and found it helpful in some way. Therefore, I plan to upgrade it with extra features regarding your requests. And as you already know, everything you need is available to download from my GitHub repository. Let's start by pointing out the new features in this version. I've added an admin login form to access all the pages with the ability to modify the admin name and email. A page to add many devices since the system depends on the fingerprint IDs to reach the right user. Therefore, using this technique you can attach the same fingerprint ID to a different user in a different device with no problem, because each user is associated with a unique device, so there will be no conflict at all. The user log page now has more filters as many of you guys requested. We will check it out later. The device works in two modes, Enrollment mode and Addendums mode, to make the process faster than the old version. If the device in the Enrollment mode, it will allow you to add new fingerprints using the Manage User page to send the IDs to it to store the fingerprints into its memory. While in Addendums mode, it will send the stored IDs to make login and logout. Now let's take a look at how the system works and how we can make it. First of all, to make the transmitter, the device, you can either use Arduino board with Wi-Fi or Ethernet, or using an ESP32 or ESP8266. I will make a video on how to make it with Ethernet or Wi-Fi module if you want to. Let me know in the comment section. For the scanner module, you can either use fingerprint module or RFID module. We will see how to make it with RFID in the next video. To add a new device, we simply need to type the device name, then the website will generate a token to use it later in our code. Then we copy that token into the transmitter code. When the transmitter is on, it will send a GET HTTP request to the website to review its mode, then the website will verify if the token exists in the database, and depending on that result, the website will send the response to the transmitter along with the mode, like enrollment. Let's find out how enrolling a new fingerprint works. From Manage User page, first we pick an ID from 1 to 127 for the fingerprint ID, along with the device that should store the fingerprint. Then the data will be sent to the database with adding finger enabled. If the transmitter is in the enrollment mode, it will send an HTTP GET request to get the ID that need to be added. After that, the website will respond with the ID that is associated with that device, then the device will show a scanning message on the display and the scanner module will be ready to scan the finger. After storing the fingerprint, the device will send a confirming request to the website to show you that the new ID has been successfully added into the module. About the login and logout part, it has the same concept as before. First, we must put the device in Addendums mode from the devices page, then the fingerprint will wait for a valid finger to send its stored ID to the website via an HTTP GET request to save it as a login in case this is the first time it sends the ID, and as a logout if the ID was already detected and sent to the database. Note, all the requests must have the device token included in the request. Now let's check the connection between the parts. The diagram is pretty simple like this. By the way, this version includes the codes for both of ESP32 and ESP8266. The ESP32 has 3 UART interfaces, and we are going to use the second serial port TX2 and RX2, since the hardware serial is much better than the software serial and their GPIO pins are 16 and 17. In this demonstration, I am going to use ESP32 with the same components that I used in the previous video. However, you can use any fingerprint module that uses serial protocol. And please always consider checking the datasheet of the modules that you have before using it to prevent any misusing. Enough theory, moving on. Let's prepare everything to make the project. First of all, go to my GitHub repository and download all the files as a zip file. Then we need a local server. I'm going with Xampp server. You can download it from the official website. After downloading the zip file with the server, extract the zip file, then copy the website folder into your server folder. If your server database has different password and username, then consider changing them in ConnectDB page by opening it using any text editor. Make sure that the firewall doesn't block the incoming connections from the network. Now let's move to ESP code. As I mentioned earlier, I am going to use ESP32. So open the code using Arduino IDE, and the first thing we have to do is to add the ESP32 and ESP8266 board to Arduino IDE. From File, go to Preferences, then paste these two links into Additional Board Manager. Then go to Tools, Boards, Board Manager and search for ESP32 or ESP8266. I've already installed both. To upload the code correctly, you have to include these 4 libraries by downloading them from the given links. And you just need to modify these 4 things: the Wi-Fi credentials and the device token that I mentioned in the beginning. To get the device token, we should run the server to access the website. Open the Xampp control panel and start Apache along with MySQL. Then open the browser and go to localhost biometric attendance to test it. After that, we need to create the database by going to localhost phpmyadmin. Then click on New and name the database Biometric Attendance and press Create button. Now we need to import the database. Click on Import, Browse, and select the database that has a SQL extension and press Go. As you can see, we successfully imported the tables of the database. Now the website is ready for the first round. Go to the login page and enter the admin name email, which is admin@gmail.com, and his password 123. As you can see, we successfully logged in. To add the device, go to Devices and click on New Device. Then enter the device name with the department name that you want and click on Create a New Device. So this is the device token that the website has generated for us. Copy it and paste it in the code. Last thing to do is a computer IP. To check the IP, go to the command prompt and type ipconfig in Windows or ifconfig in Linux. Select your network adapter IP, in my case it's Ethernet, copy the IP and insert it in the code. After finishing all the previous steps, the code is ready to upload into ESP32. Select the exact port that you have with the associated COM port and press upload. When you see connecting in red, then you have to press the built-in boot button on the ESP32 board. This version also supports multi-devices simultaneously by just adding the new device from the devices page and then include the device token in its code as we did. Here I have to highlight this point: multi-devices. While we are using the fingerprint module itself to store the fingerprints of the users, not in the database, thus that doesn't mean that the user can enter using any device, only using the devices that already have their fingerprints stored. So that's why you have to select the device that the user will use to enter. In case you want to give the user the ability to enter using different devices, then you need to enroll his fingerprint in all of the devices that you want. Note, there is a way to do that, but not using this method. I am going to add another device for later testing. Anyway, let's move on. As I said earlier, the device must be in enrollment mode in order to get a new fingerprint, and we must select the user device when we add a new fingerprint. Let's try 2 fingerprints. The first ID is 1, belong to the device that I recently created. Place your finger on the scanner and wait for a second to take a picture. Then remove your finger and wait for a second, then replace the same finger on the scanner to take another picture. After that, the scanner will compare the 2 pictures to check if they match each other or not. If so, then it should appear a check sign on the display and the device status will change from free to added, indicating to a successful enrollment. To update the user information, just select the user finger ID and update what you want and click on Update. This page uses Ajax, so you don't need to refresh the page at all. Let's try to add the same first ID but belongs to a different device. It will work with no problem. Here I have just one fingerprint. I'm going to add the second ID like the first one. To remove a user, just select the user finger ID and click on remove, and a delete message should appear on the display. After adding 2 fingerprints and checking that everything works as intended, let's move to user log to test the login and logout. Before that, we have to change the device mode to attendance mode, then let's test the first fingerprint. For the login, the device will send the ID, then it will receive a response from the website with the finger username. And it will show a welcome message on the display, and the same things for the logout. As you notice, the timeout will be updated just for the new log, not for the entire log. About the new filter, I've tried to put together all the filters that you suggest in the comment and your emails. So as you can see, now you can filter by range of date, range of time in or time out, user and device. Also, you can export the log after the filter to Excel. In the end, I hope you have better understanding now on how this project works, and if these features are interesting for you or might help you working on your project. If you have any question, please leave a comment and I will try to answer it. As always, be the creator of your ideas. See you next video. Thanks for watching.